Okay, we're back at spursvideo.com and we're going to go over the Spurs 89 to 85 loss to the Lakers in game 1. Um, this was a great ending for the Lakers and a great first start to the Lakers because it made it look like they can basically impose their will and then beat the Spurs, when they want to. The Spurs had played really good basketball up until um, up until the end of the third quarter. I think it was about 4 minutes to go when the Lakers decided to turn it on, and um, it was a really bad game for the Spurs to lose because game ones are really crucial, especially this series more so than the previous two because the Lakers are they're such a smart basketball team and they're so talented. So any game you have and that you can take care of, you should. Now that's not to say I did not think the Lakers would come back because I think everybody knows the Lakers are going to come back. I mean, the Spurs weren't going to blow out the Lakers. I never thought that, but um, I think this was the Spurs game to win, and the Lakers stole it from them. Well, they didn't steal it from him; they took it from him. Okay, in the first quarter, what I thought would happen did. Radmanovic went ahead and scored on Manu. Manu just could not handle the bigger players today. He also got scored on by Odom, and um, Gasol also had 9 points. Gasol got in the paint a lot and got his easy buckets, but that's hard to stop. I mean, you're not going to ever shut out Gasol because Kobe creates a lot for him, and he just hangs around the basket, and sometimes he can just put that ball in. So, um, not a bad first quarter at all. Spurs leading 27 to 24, I think, and then in the second quarter, more Spurs. They did a good job here. Duncan again leading the way. I thought Duncan played great tonight, and more on him in a little bit later. Throughout the first half, Kobe, it was almost like he didn't, he was refusing to shoot. I think I mean, the Lakers won the game, but I don't agree with that strategy, and evidently Phil Jackson doesn't either. Kobe only taking 2 shots. He played really passively, and it was great for the Spurs. So Kobe finished with looks like 11 to 21 with 9 assists and 27 points, 25 of those after half. Uh, I like Kobe working within the teamwork, but not to the point where he takes himself out of the game. You don't want the best player in the world to take themselves out of the game for the first half or the first um, 2 quarters and change. So I didn't think that was very smart by Kobe. But they ended up winning, and Kobe did take over when it counted. Now, at the halftime, the Spurs were leading 51-38, and then no 51-43, and only had 2 turnovers. The Lakers only had 5, and but afterwards, the Spurs had 10 turnovers. And what changed I think the biggest change in the game was when Kobe decided to go and start scoring. The Spurs didn't adjust to that, and the Spurs. That's one thing they should have seen coming and not ever let Kobe take over the game because you knew he was going to attempt it in the second half after he didn't do it in the first half. So you know Kobe's not going to sit there and finish with a 12 assist game with like 7 points. So I think that was the time to really put Bruce Bowen on him, and he went off with starting with the Udoka on him, and Bruce Bowen did play really good one-on-one defense against him. So um, I think the Spurs, I think Greg Popovich missed the opportunity there to really capitalize, know what was going to happen, and send 2 people at Kobe and make sure that he never scored. You want Kobe, you want Kobe to have 30 shots in the game, but you don't want those shots to all come in the second half. And it was a little forced though by Kobe because it's stupid because all he did was basically ball hog when it got to a certain point. Now that's not to say he's not a talented ball hugger. He scored a lot, but I think what would be better for the Lakers if he worked more within the flow of the offense throughout the game. Uh, but next time you might want to put Udoka on. I mean, might want to take Udoka off, put Bowen on it, and add more help when you know he's going to shoot. Um, the Spurs had 10 turnovers after half. Like I said, Kobe goes for 25. Big mistake by Greg Popovich putting Jock Vaughn in the game. Do not put Jock Vaughn in the game, especially in the late part of the game. Um, he didn't really make too much of a difference. I mean, he didn't hurt the Spurs in a, in a numbers sense too much, but taking Tony Parker out of the game took off Tony Parker's rhythm and it took out the Spurs' rhythm as well. Um, and then Popovich sat Duncan in the fourth quarter. The key, like the biggest part of the fourth quarter, the Lakers are trying to overcome the hump and actually take the lead, and he takes Duncan out. I was amazed. Keep Duncan in the game. I don't understand Greg Popovich sometimes, and this is one of those times. You want your key players playing. If I mean if he's tired, he's tired. But there's no tired Duncan, especially this game, is going to be better than anybody else the Spurs have. The Duncan had a monster game, and I'm hard on him when he does bad, but I have got to praise him now. 30 points, 18 rebounds, 4 blocks in 41 minutes. Huge game by Duncan. He hit tough shots. He had great moves. Um, he was great around the basket. He blocked a lot. I mean, he was defending the goal well. He blocked Kobe. He blocked Paul Gasol. He blocked Odom. Um, Great game by Duncan. And then the opposite end spectrum, we have Ginobili just not. His head was out of the game. I do not know what happened to Ginobili, but he was making absolutely horrendous passes. And that comes with Manu Ginobili sometimes. He's a lot more good than he is bad, but today he was bad. And there was one pass in particular where Duncan was wide open at the angle from about 17 feet, and Ginobili does a skip pass about 34 feet out to Parker on the wing, and Fisher intercepted it, and it led to 2 free throws. Parker only had 1 assist after halftime. I think he was a little thrown off by Jock Vaughn coming in the game. I don't even think, at this point, it's not. You don't want Jock Vaughn in the game. I would have put Brent Berry if Parker needed the rest, but not Jock Vaughn. The Spurs only had 34 points after halftime, and you know you knew the Lakers were going to make a run, but I was hoping it wasn't going to be that significant of a run. Uh, it was a bad game for the Spurs to lose. I didn't know that Phil Jackson's 40-0 after when he wins Game One. That's an ominous sign, and I think it's an ominous sign in the series. So far I've predicted every playoff series right. When before the playoffs started, I had a bracket. I've had every series right, and I have the Spurs losing this series. Now I was wrong in the middle of the Hornets series, so maybe that will come around, and hopefully I'll be wrong again, and the Spurs can turn this around. But on the positive side for the Spurs, they looked really good for a large portion of the game, and they showed that they can. I thought it would be the other way around, like the Lakers would come out strong and push the Spurs around. The Spurs looked very dominant for a large portion of this game. So, um, if Manu can improve his performance and everything else stays the same, the Spurs are going to win. Game two is a big game, as all games are, but game two's big. If the Spurs can steal one there, they'll atone for this loss and go back home with the split. This series is going a minimum of 6 games, so um, um, hopefully the Spurs can improve their second half status. Um, so bad game by the Spurs, but good effort by the Lakers. And right now it's Lakers 1, Spurs 0.